What's going on YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius guide, and today we're talking about Madam's Manor, something you guys may not be aware of that happened in the game. Just came out with a new storyline release, and you guys unlock it once you make it to the Silk Way and you get the Iltea town. I'm going to leave it a link in the description below that'll show you how to unlock Madam's Manor. Essentially, you go in there, you go into, like, the inn, you talk to some guy on the bottom, and it'll unlock it. But you need to get to this point. I'll go ahead and show, like, where I am in the story here so you guys can see maybe how far away you are as you're following the path. But that's essentially after the Silk Way, you unlock that town, you go in there, and you can unlock it. And so we can go over here, and you can see this is where Madam's Manor is. And what is Madam's Manor? It's essentially the next, we'll call them key quests, but they're doing it completely different. So you know how we collected the keys, and then we did the Great Ravens quest, and we got a good item at the end? This is essentially the next part of season, it's like season 2's way of doing that. And you'll go in here into Madam's Manor, you'll do a whole story quest where you meet the Madam, who is a cool character, by the way. And then you'll learn that you want to go down beneath the manor, and there are going to be several treasures, but a lot of monsters underneath. Again, with the first time you go through this, if you look on here, it does tell you, this is the first floor, it does tell you to take Erwin in your party. I do suggest that highly. There are a lot of story things going on in that, and you want to take that. I also would highly suggest using Evoke and Esper 2 times or more while you're in there, just to get that done on the first clear as well. So you're going to go through there. It's going to be similar to when you fought Bahamut. There's going to be, everywhere you walk, it's going to be an exploration. There's going to be, as far as similar to Bahamut, there's a lot of enemies that show up. They're kind of difficult. You can use escape to get away from them. And then, you know, they can have preemptive strikes. So you need to be careful of that. And then you go through and you unlock the whole map. And you get to the end, a storyline thing happens. But then it unlocks a boss that you can fight named Binnu, who gives you a Crimson Gem. Right? You're like, what am I getting from this? What, Claic? You've been talking about this place. What do I get from it? You get a Crimson Gem. So what can we do with that Crimson Gem? Absolutely nothing. It doesn't do anything in the game right now. JP, from what I understand, has had only level 2 unlocked in the Ancient Runes, and I'm assuming it gives you another gem as for beating the boss, and essentially, they have nothing to use them for yet. But I think in the future, obviously, if we beat them, we're going to be unlocking new things. When you go through here, there are different kinds of weapons on the exploration in the chest that are pretty cool. There are crafting things. I do believe eventually we get a crafting recipe to make an evade hat or something, like evade helmet or something like that, which is going to be cool on the second floor. So that's pretty good. So let's talk about Binnu. This boss is extremely difficult, guys. It is extremely difficult. It is a bird. You guys probably know what Binnus are if you played any Final Fantasy game, normally bird type character, which I totally forgot about until my chat told me. This bird is very, very hard. It has different mechanics that took me a while to figure out because there's not a lot of information going on out there. But, you know, we got through it and we figured it out. I would suggest, since you absolutely get nothing from this, and I'm talking JP in the future has done nothing with these gems yet, wait till 7 stars, guys, if you want to. Now, if you want to challenge like I did, and I went here and fought it, good. But don't feel left out. You still have until, you know, 7 stars come out, slowly build up your team. There's still no use for this yet. This is more of a, this trial is on par. I don't know if actually with the units coming out right now, it might be on par with Marlboro. It's a very, very hard fight. So, let's look at the team I took in to fight it. We're just going to slap a Tidus as a friend because when we actually go in there, I've already recorded me beating the fight, so this is going to be post-production right here. So the team I took in, yes, it's a whale team. And I know a lot of you guys out there are going to be a little upset with that, but, I mean, hey, again, when 7 stars come out, you're going to be able to fight this bird on your own. The bird has 100 million HP. Okay? The bird has Binnu has 100 million HP. It has a lot of defense, all right? So we're going to be taking a breaker in CG Lid. We're going to be taking a buffer in CG Nickel. We're going to be taking an AoE physical evade tank in Warrior of Light. And then we're going to be taking Mystia. We need somebody who can take a big spirit hit. But also, we're taking Mystia because the boss does a lot of status elements, and Clearveil does that, you know, takes care of us very well. And then I'm using Tidus as my damage dealer. I think you guys really want to be on the ability, physical damage side of doing damage, as it's much easier to deal with the mechanics if you're doing that. Magic kind of makes things a little bit, I don't know, kind of complicates things a little bit. So as you can see, I have no healer because we don't need a healer. With this strategy, we don't need a healer. We don't want to be casting magic. I'm going to show you some images of birds right now. This little piece of shit right here with the little egg helmet. Yeah, that guy really beats the crap out of you. You guys will find him in the dungeon as you go down. If you cast any magic, it's going to do a big fire magic attack and hurt everybody. And this is an ad the boss can spawn. Okay, now you're going to look at this guy right here, this bird right here. That guy will peck somebody and take them down and kill you if you use an ability. So that's the guy with this strategy. If you look at the team right now, with this strategy, we're going to be killing off those ads. We're not going to let those ads live at all. But we're going to let the little eggshell ads live. Okay, because we're not going to be casting any magic. We're not going to be healing. We're not going to be doing any type of magic. No magic allowed. All right, no magic abilities. Or those guys are going to kill us. The boss works like this. Turn 1, the boss is going to do AoE physical damage and then do a bunch of auto attacks. Warrior of Light physical evade's got that covered. Then he's going to spawn an ad. And it could be random. It could be the one, this little shit right here who who counters abilities and we have to kill him off. Or it could be this little shit right here that counters magic and we wanted them to stay there. The boss also has a mechanic that if you kill off too many of said ads, or you kill them all off after a certain point in the fight, like all of them are dead, it will use a move called Flames of Rage. Okay, Flames of Rage is literally AoE magic damage times 1,000,000. I haven't been able to cover it yet, and it's not fire damage. So I know it says flame, but it's not fire damage. It's elementless. So it's going to kill you. So we have to leave some of the ads. That's why we're using it to leave the egghead. On turn 2, the boss is going to do AoE status element on everyone. So everybody's going to get status element. So that's why we need Clear Veil or everybody to be status element up. And then going to do a bunch of auto attacks. So we're good there with Warrior of Light covering. On turn 3, it's going to buff itself by 300% and do a bunch of auto attacks. During this time, it is still spawning ads. And again, we want to kill off the peck beaks or whatever, the counter abilities. We want to leave the eggheads if they end up showing up. On the 4th rotation of this boss, it will do the single target magic hit. So it'll do a single target magic hit, and that's why we have Mystia here, guys. Mystia is going to try to provoke and take that. I have Golem on her. Her goal, her turn rotation looks like this. Clear Veil. Either her limit burst or her move that puts up her spirit and makes her take less damage. We're using Ankh, the Ankh TMR from Divine Soleil to put a auto revive on herself, because if this boss, it doesn't always just cast one of those. It's random. It could cast 1, it could cast 2, it could cast up to 3 of them. If it casts 3 of them, your Mystia is going to die. At least mine did. And again, you could use Bosch, you use Chow, but I use Mystia for the Clear Veil. And then that's what's going to happen. So on turn 3, she's going to cast the Ankh to make herself up. And then turn 4, she's going to provoke. And that's when the boss is going to hit. So on turn 4, the boss is going to be doing that single target damage. We want our Mystia to do that. And then it's just going to repeat. As you get it lower, there are some things that are thrown in there. Similar, I think on turn 1, once you get down to a certain threshold, it does this thing called Black Flames. Because White Flames is the AoE physical we talked about. Black Flames is going to be a move that does AoE magic damage. But if we have the magic mitigation, damage mitigation up, it really doesn't do that much damage. You can live through it even without a healer. I mean, I had my Warrior of Light down to like 3k HP and he still lived through that move, so we're not too worried about that. The last mechanic we're going to talk about this boss can do is after a certain threshold, I do believe it's like 80, 60, and 40 or something like that, it will summon bombs. So these bombs will show up, and you have to take care of them. They're another ad that they can spawn, and it will spawn. So when these bombs show up, you have 2 turns to kill it. So let's say the bomb shows up, you do your attack, the bomb will say it's starting to explode, you do your attack, the bomb's not dead, it explodes, kills your team. You're not going to live through it. So the way we want to deal with that, you have 2 ways. You can petrify it and it dies, or you can use an item on it. And the item we're going to be using, if you look down here, is the Giant Feather. You can have anybody use an item on it, which is cool because on Warrior Light's all turns, he could be killing it with Giant Feather. Mystia can do that too. Anybody can. Your damage dealers don't have to worry about them. So it's very important that you do that. One of the strategies that I'm using right now is that it's RNG, right? So we get into the fight. We're ready to fight the boss. He poops out one of those red peak dudes, so we have to take care of with our physical damage. Well, not really, because again, they could be petrified. So we use Riku's Pouch or any kind of petrification move that you could put on your dudes with CG Lid, and then it gets petrified, it dies off. All of the ads in this fight can be petrified. When they're petrified, they die immediately. The fight, I know I'm talking a lot, guys, so you might want to rewind and talk about this video, but I just want to get it out because I've learned so much. If you kill the boss off, the fight is not over. The ads will still live, and you'll have to deal with the ads. Again, if you get to that point and you have Chaos Grenade from Riku's Pouch, you just throw the Chaos Grenade, petrify them all, they all die, you win the game. And that's what happens in the fight. You'll see in a minute. So right now I'm going to go through all of my equipment, all of what I have on my dudes here, on my team. And then I'll show you guys the fight I just did, and then hopefully you guys can beat it later on if you can't right now with 7 stars. So, all right. Again, you guys are going to look through a lot of this equipment and think, what are you doing? Because I might be missing some and things like that. Essentially, the most important thing is to have Riku's Pouch on somebody. I was going for a fire resist build, thinking that Flame of Rage was, or Rage of Flame was fire. It is not, so that's why there's some fire on there. But I really didn't need it. You just want to put HP, SPR, defense, things like that. But they really don't take any hits, to be honest. They could randomly take the single target magic hit that comes out because, you know, Mystia is not 100% provoking, but that's okay. So see, I don't even have a helmet on my nickel, and I don't even have a helmet when I go in there anyway. See, my nickel, I don't even have another one of that. See, it's just not necessary, at least for these units. They're so powerful. And it felt really good to use these units. I had a lot of fun playing this. You know, Warrior of Light, we have, you see that? You see that Rico TMR in there? We have as much, you know, evade as we need on there. I did have petrification resistance on him. That was before I was using Mystia to the Clearvel, things like that. So, you know, you don't need that. But hey, there's my full evade. And then Mystia, we want to build her with as much spirit as you can throw on her. We have Anka the Goddess for the revive. We have K Producer's Jacket for the more targeting. It's 15%. You guys just all got that. It's 15%, and with, I do believe Provoke is 70% from Golem. That's what we're going to be using. I think it's 85%. But during the fight, you'll see somebody gets smacked with that ability instead of her, and it kind of sucks. But hey, that's how the dice rolls sometimes. And then we have, you know, all kinds of stuff on her to make her as strong in spirit and HP as we can so she can live through those hits. And then we have my Tidus here. This is the perfect Tidus for the fight. This is best in slot Tidus, I do believe. Again, you want to have, and I'll have him as my friend unit as soon as people are done with my CG lid. You want to have Bird Killer and Discernment on him. And if you guys want to set this up for other people to use, or you're thinking, how can I set up my Tidus to help people beat Binnu? This is what you want. Because you want the status helmet, so if they have all status helmet resist on their team, and they don't want to use Clearvel, or something like that, that you're ready to go, and you have the Bird Killer, because that's going to stack up. He has innate Bird Killer, he has Bird Killer right there, and then Tetrasylphid gets some Bird Killer too. That's it, guys. The only important Esper that you guys need on your team right here is the Golem, because we want to have Provoke on Mystia, and then the Tetrasylphid for the extra Bird Killer damage. That's it, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and skip over to the clip of me beating down the boss. Best of luck, guys. And again, don't get discouraged. You actually absolutely get nothing for it right now. And 7 stars will be out and before you end up being able to use it. All right, guys. So we're going to get into the fight. Again, you want to go to the Ancient Ruins level 1. Go back in there after you go through the first time and do all the story stuff. So we'll click that right there. Click this. We just got to defeat him to get that orb. Again, there's no use for it, but hey, it's a trophy, and eventually I think there's going to be a use for it. So the friend unit I'm going to take is Tidus, because Tidus is going to be my chainer. I would prefer a Tidus that has Tetrasylphid, Bird Killer, and then Discernment on, to not worry about those nasty status elements that the Bird casts on its turn 2 rotation. But sometimes you don't have friends like that available, so we're going to be using Clearvel to take care of that when it comes to status elements, and we'll be doing a little bit less damage. It's a lot of bit, but we do a little bit less damage here. So we're going to go ahead and get into the fight. I'm going to be using the teleporter that you can unlock when you get in there. You guys learn all about that by following the wiki page. It was kind of frustrating for me. I was a little bit tired trying to figure it out. But I'm going to be going through here. I'm going to be casting Eccentric with... Some of the enemies can strike first, as you can see here. I'm going to be casting Eccentric with a CG lid. And then I'm going to be just bursting them all down with double Tidus, Energy Rain. And then just having everybody else auto attack to build up our limit burst. We want them all build up before we fight the boss. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to the video to where I have that done as I get to the boss. So see you then. Alright guys, so we've reached the entrance. Before we go in here and fight this boss, it is an exploration, so you want to go ahead and give everybody their life back. I'm sure they lost some enemies struck first on you guys. Use a tent, and give everybody their MP and their life back, so we can go in here with full limit burst, full MP, full HP. So we're going to go up here and fight this bird, who turned out to be one of the coolest fights I've seen in the game so far. It took a while to figure out the mechanics again, but it's been pretty fun. So on turn 1, we're going to have CG Lid do her defensive break. I don't want to use her limit burst yet. I'm going to save that for the turn that Mystia is going to be getting solo targeted with the magic attack, and then Tidus will be ramped up to do his most damage when we get there. So defensive break here. We're going to go ahead and use Courageous Stance. It is going to lower our defense and spirit, but we don't really care about that because the boss on turn 1 is doing AoE physical and then just physical auto attacks, which... You know, the light is with us. Warrior Light's going to cover with his full evade. It's not going to matter. We're going to have Mystia cast Clearvel again. You know, my friend unit doesn't have full resist to all status elements, so that's something to take care of that. And then we got to cast Double Jet Shot if you're using Tidus. If you're not, you just go ahead and go ham with your chainers. But with Tidus, we got to put the water element on when we're using fixed dice for maximum damage. Okay, so on the first turn again, it can cast any one of the 2 birds. So either this bird, which we're fine with because it counters magic, we're not using magic, or it'll cast the other bird that'll counter abilities, and we want to kill that one off. If the other bird spawns here, you want to use your person that has Chaos Grenade, which has Riku's Pouch on it, and kill it off. because it'll insta-kill, it'll petrify, and it'll kill it off. You don't want to always be wiping out the ads again, because it can cause it to do the Rage of Flame or whatever and wipe your team, so you want to be very careful of that. So since it didn't spawn the one we didn't want, we're going to go ahead and continue with our damage. We'll magic break it. We'll use CG Nichols Limit Burst now. We will use Quick Hits. No, we will not. We will use Limit Burst, because we're still building up Tidus. He does take 3 turns to turn on. But it's good because everything lasts 5 turns once you get it set up. So we'll go ahead and use double. Oh, whoa. Chaining on an iPad here. Some things can happen. We're going to use double Blitz Ace on the boss. Take down its water and imperil it by 100%. Water resist. And do some good damage while we're at it. And then we're going to have Mystia go ahead and cast her Limit Burst on everyone. And then Warrior of Light's just going to go ahead and cast Tidus with us. The reason I keep refreshing the Tidus with this buff is because eventually he's going to need to be using items, so I want that on as long as possible. So Distortion happens, AoE, give everybody a bunch of nasty status elements, but it didn't work, so we have Clear Veil on. So we're good there. And then a bunch of auto attacks, so we're good there. If Holy is to proc on your on the little bird, don't worry. I know it's a magic ability, or we're casting a magic ability, so it should be countering us, but it doesn't because it's technically during the enemy's turn, so we're good there. All right, so we are going on to turn 3 of the boss, which means the boss is going to buff itself, so we just need to debuff and apply all our buffs. But this is the turn where Tidus turns on. This is the turn where Tidus gets his chance to do as much damage to the boss as possible. So we're going to try to chain this the best way we can. That wasn't like the best chain, but you can see how much damage the Tidus can do. Just imagine if that Tidus had Tetrasylphid and Bird Killer also on it. Insane. So we're on turn 3. And turn 4 of the boss is when the boss is going to do the single target magic damage. It can do it up to 3 times. It can hit someone up to, it casts it, it could shoot it up to 3 times. So we're going to go ahead and put re-raise on our Mystia, and then the next turn we're going to provoke to pull that over to her. Lid is just going to go ahead and break the defense again. There's literally nothing else for her to do. I guess we could cast Eccentric, actually. Let's go ahead and cast Eccentric. I like that. We should have cast that before we did Quick Hit, but that's a good idea. I didn't think of that, so that's something we should be doing. We're going to have our CG Nickel go ahead and cast Soulful Stance, because we don't want our Spirit taken down, because Mystia is going to be getting hit in a minute, and then we're going to cast the damage mitigation buff on everyone. And then Warrior of Light, again, is just going to do Tidus with us, preparing him to be able to use items. Now, the boss has been pushed through thresholds, meaning it is going to spawn bombs. So here come the bombs. Okay, that's one of the birds we don't want on the field. The one that Warrior Light's not attacking. So the bombs, when they come out, will destroy you if you allow them to be alive for 2 turns. The first turn, it says they're getting ready to explode when it goes to them. The second turn, they blow you up. So we want to make sure we kill them on the second turn that happens. So we're going to be taking care of that. But for right now, the boss just buffed itself during its rotation. So we're going to need to use a Dispel on the boss. So I'm going to go ahead and use Holy Torch on the boss to take care of that. So Holy Torch on the boss. Doesn't have anything else on it. I'm going to go ahead and use my Tidus to use Jet Shot, put water back on his attacks, and get rid of the red peak. Again, we don't want them to be alive. You do not want to be casting the Chaos Grenade at this point, because it will literally petrify and kill everything in the fight, kill all the ads, and that could cause him to do this Rage of Flame move, so we want to be careful about that. So we're going to go ahead and Jet Shot the bird. And now the boss literally has nothing going on with it. So we're going to Blitz Ace it to go ahead and give it the water resist down again. So we're going to do that. Mystia is going to cast Provoke, because again, when it's the Binnu's turn, he is going to do the single target magic attack. So we want to try to pull it to Mystia as best possibly as we can. We're going to go ahead and cast, let's see. We're going to cast Soulful Stance. Actually, this is a turn where CG Nickel is going to be using an item. We can just use an item to get rid of one of the bosses, because he really doesn't need to be doing anything. One of the bombs. So we're going to use this item and watch as we use the item. Bomb's dead. And then we are going to use the CG Lid's Limit Burst. That way we have the defense down for when we want to attack. And also it takes his magic down the best as possible in order to have Mystia live through this, or anybody else who might get tagged by it, because the Provoke isn't 100%. So let's see. About to explode. That's the bomb. Revelation. Okay, did hit Warrior of Light. Cast 2. Again, it's not 100%. I think we have it up to 85% Provoke onto the Mystia at this point. But hey, we lived through it again thanks to the break, waiting on the break. So now we're moving on to this turn, meaning that we're starting the turn rotation again. Double Tidus, they both still have the water on them, the water buff on their attacks. I mean, so they're going to be able to go in and do the chaining on Binnu. We do need somebody to go in and kill off that bomb. We're going to have Mystia do it, because she doesn't really need to be doing anything else this turn. So Mystia is going to go ahead and use the item here. Giant Feather, bomb's gone. If we let it live one more turn, it's going to blow up and kill your team. So we got rid of that. What can Lid do? Let's see. Lid could buff up Maritime Strategist Nicole's Limit Burst. Let's go ahead and do that. I like that. since we just cast hers, I'm good with just using that. So we're going to use the Spec Guard onto CG Nickel and use his Limit Burst this turn as well. Let's go ahead and do that on my team. And then we're going to have Warrior of Light cast The Light is With Us to get that going back up again. So we're going to target the boss, and we're going to do double chaining quick hits to it. Woo! 10%. All right, let's see what happens here. Summoning a bird. Okay, it only summoned one of the bad birds. Summon the bombs again because that Black Flames is AoE magic damage. Do not kill Warrior of Light. Woo! Okay, we live. That's AoE magic damage. We can live through that as long as we have damage mitigation up. We have some HP going on us. We're good to go. So, essentially, I do believe one of my Tidus sadly does not have the water element attached to it. I do believe, yes, Smug Little Kid does not have water element attached to him. That sucks. However, what we're going to take this turn to go ahead and do is we're going to take this turn to Eject Shot the this bird right here. We're going to Eject Shot this bird. We want to get rid of it, and we want to make sure that we can do enough damage to take down the big bird on later turns, Binnu. So we're going to go ahead and Red Peak. We're going to double Eject Shot this guy. Get rid of him and put the water back on us. Then let's see what we should do. Mystia, you're gonna need to class Clear Veil. We're about to get hit by the distortion on everyone, so Clear Veil needs to be up. Maritime Strategist Nicole can put up the Impregnable Stance along with giving us some MP back. Warrior of Light just cast the cover, right? He has cover, so we can take this turn to just go ahead and get rid of both of the bombs if we want, which is what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna target this bomb, cast an item on it, and then we're gonna use CG Lid to, let me think. Yeah, she can go ahead and use a bomb. There's no reason not to. She can kill the bomb, I mean. So she's going to kill this bomb off like this. Boom. And there we go. So now the boss should summon some more birds, cast Distortion, do the auto attacks, and now I think we've got the fight in hand. Strictly speaking, because he should be water imperiled, we'll break, his defense should be broken. We should be able to do at least 10% damage. Both of our Tidus has the water element on him. So he's going to be able to do 10%, and then we're going to use Heavenly Tactician Lid to kill off all of the adds at the end here. So let's see. Defense is broken, correct? Ooh, defense is not broken. Well, we can take this turn and be careful, actually, and we're going to go ahead and break the defense just to make sure we kill the boss. I want to be careful, because she could cast Chaos Grenade and kill all the adds off, too, and just end the fight there. But just to be safe, you always want to be just safe, especially when you're fighting a boss of this caliber. If you mess up, you just lose the whole fight. So we're going to go ahead and break the defense here on the boss. The next turn, it's going to buff itself, so we definitely want to take it out now. So we're going to have double Tidus chain it up, kill the boss off. That's really good. Mystia is going to go ahead and cast... Let's see what Mystia wants to cast. I guess we can just reinstate and put her health back up. Doesn't really matter. CG Nickel is going to cast the Impregnable Stance. Then we'll Courageous Stance our team. Warrior Light is going to cast the Light is With Us. And then now all we have to do is take care of the adds and end the fight. And because we didn't cast any magic, the adds are just going to auto attack. And Warrior of Light's going to... Ooh! Did that one hit? Did that hit? No, they didn't hit CG Nickel. It looked like it did, though, but instead it missed. So now we're going to take this time to test to see if the Chaos Grenade actually just kills all of them, petrifies them. Boom. Get rid of all those adds. We don't need them anymore. The pesky adds are gone. And we have won the fight. We have taken down Binnu. And our prize is some gem that doesn't even have a use in JP yet. Pat on the back. Good job. Good job. So yeah, that's the fight, guys. It was really fun. It took me hours. I was on Cooley BK's stream. We were working it out. We were thinking in our head. He came up with the Riku pouch, using that to kill off the ads. So we learned, because there's not a lot of information out there right now on the fight, unless you delve deep into the JP version of the game. Data mine information is not out yet on the wiki and things like that. So it was really fun to slowly figure out what the boss does, what its mechanics are, and how to take it down. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you're going for that gem currently, or you're gonna wait on 7 stars, because 7 stars should make it a lot easier. It has 100 million health. We need those 7 stars. And then subscribe for future content. We'll catch you guys in the next video.